Step into Justice Insight Cam. We provide an objective look at real-life law enforcement encounters caught on bodycam. Going beyond the surface, we dissect the legalities, the truth, and the educational aspects of every situation. Let's uncover the reality of policing.
Residential 10 a.m. appointment. Here's the confirmation.
I don't see it. It's not in the system.
Can you check again, please?
Step back from the desk.
I'm here for a scheduled meeting. I'd like the supervisor.
You don't belong back here. Leave now.
I'm not leaving. Please verify the appointment.
Last warning. I'm calling the police.
The security camera footage starts at 9:47 a.m. on a Tuesday morning in March 2019. A black man in his mid-30s, dressed in a tailored navy suit, walks through the revolving glass doors of the headquarters building. His name is Marcus Thompson, and he's about to make a decision that will cost a multinational corporation $2 million and change the way they do business forever. But right now, in this moment captured in grainy black and white footage, he's just a man with an appointment, a confirmation email on his phone, and absolutely no idea that the next 17 minutes will define the rest of his life. Before we go any further, I want you to drop a comment and tell me, have you ever been in a situation where you had to stand up for yourself, when everyone around you wanted you to just walk away? Because what happens next is going to test everything you think you know about courage. Marcus approaches the reception desk. The lobby is massive, one of those corporate cathedral spaces with marble floors that echo every footstep, floor-to-ceiling windows letting in cold March sunlight, and a reception desk that looks more like a fortress than a welcome station. 3 receptionists sit behind it. The CCTV angle captures all of this from above and slightly to the left, the kind of omniscient perspective that sees everything but feels nothing. The woman closest to where Marcus stops is named Jennifer Patterson. She's 26, been working at this company for 14 months, and according to her own later testimony, she's had exactly 1 training session on customer service protocols. She doesn't look up when Marcus stops in front of her section of the desk. She's typing something, eyes fixed on her screen, and the timestamp shows he stands there for 11 seconds before speaking. "Excuse me," Marcus says. His voice is polite, professional. "I have a 10 a.m. appointment with Derek Williams in business development." Jennifer glances up, and here's where the footage becomes crucial, because what happens in the next few seconds is going to be analyzed frame by lawyers, deposited into evidence, and ultimately determine the outcome of a federal discrimination lawsuit. Her eyes move from Marcus's face to something over his left shoulder, then back to her screen. She doesn't speak. Marcus waits. 16 more seconds tick by on the CCTV timestamp. "I'm sorry," he says again, and you can hear in his tone that he's genuinely trying to be patient. "I'm a few minutes early, but I wanted to check in. The appointment is under Marcus Thompson." Jennifer finally speaks. "Do you have an appointment confirmation?" "Yes, absolutely." Marcus pulls out his phone, taps the screen a few times, turns it to show her. The camera angle doesn't capture the screen, but later evidence will show he had a confirmed meeting scheduled for 10 a.m. with Williams, sent 3 days prior with a calendar invitation and everything. Jennifer barely looks at the phone. "I don't see anything in the system." Now, here's what makes this moment so critical. Marcus has been in business for 8 years. He runs a consulting firm that specializes in supply chain optimization. He's worked with Fortune 500 companies, presented at conferences, been featured in industry publications. He knows how corporate America works, he knows the subtle signs when something isn't right, and he knows, in this moment, that Jennifer Patterson hasn't actually checked any system. She's been looking at the same screen the entire time, and her fingers haven't moved to type his name. "Could you check again, please?" Marcus asks. The confirmation came from Williams' assistant, Sarah Chen. It should definitely be in there. Jennifer sighs, an audible, exasperated sigh that the CCTV microphone picks up, and makes a show of typing. Her fingers move across the keyboard for maybe 4 seconds. Nothing. There's no appointment scheduled. Marcus feels something shift in his chest. It's not anger yet. It's that familiar, sick recognition that black professionals know too well. That moment when you realize the rules are about to be different for you, when the normal professional protocols are going to suddenly become obstacles. "That's strange," he says, keeping his voice even. "Let me call William's office directly. Maybe there's been a miscommunication." He steps slightly to the side, away from the desk, and pulls out his phone. The camera captures him making the call, holding the phone to his ear, waiting. It rings 4 times before going to voicemail. He tries the assistant's number. Same result. He checks his watch. 9:51 a.m. Still 9 minutes until his scheduled appointment. He returns to the desk. Jennifer is now talking to a co-worker, laughing about something. Marcus waits for a natural break in their conversation, then speaks up again. "I wasn't able to reach them directly, but I'm confident the appointment is valid. Is there a way you could call up to the office and verify?" Jennifer turns to him with an expression that the courtroom will later describe as openly hostile. "Sir, if you don't have a verified appointment in our system, I can't let you go up." "I understand that," Marcus says, "but I do have a verified appointment. I have the email confirmation. I can forward it to you right now if that helps." "Our system doesn't work that way." "Then how does your system work? Because I've been here before for meetings, and this has never been an issue." Jennifer's jaw tightens. "Sir, I'm going to need you to step back from the desk." And there it is, the line that transforms a frustrating customer service interaction into something else entirely. Marcus hasn't raised his voice. He hasn't leaned over the desk or made any threatening gestures. He's been nothing but professional, but now he's being told to step back, as if he's done something wrong, as if his mere presence at the reception desk is somehow aggressive. Let me ask you something. What would you do in this moment? Would you step back? Would you leave and try to sort it out later? Would you escalate? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because Marcus is about to make a choice that will cost him months of stress, thousands of dollars in legal fees, and his peace of mind, but will also result in a $2 million judgment and sweeping policy changes at one of the world's largest corporations. Marcus doesn't step back. Instead, he takes a breath and says, very clearly, "I'm not doing anything that requires me to step back. I'm standing at a reception desk, attempting to check in for a scheduled business appointment. I would like to speak to a supervisor, please." Jennifer's face flushes. She picks up the phone at her desk and speaks into it, but her voice is too low for the CCTV microphone to capture clearly. The timestamp shows this call lasts 23 seconds. When she hangs up, she tells Marcus, "Someone will be down shortly." "Thank you," Marcus says. He moves to the side of the lobby, not leaving, but giving space at the desk for other visitors. He checks his phone again. Still no response to his calls. It's 9:54 a.m. now. The someone who arrives is not a supervisor. It's a security guard named Robert Mitchell, 51 years old, former police officer, working corporate security for the past 6 years. He's a big man, 6'3", probably 230 pounds, and he approaches Marcus with the kind of deliberate slowness that's meant to convey authority. "Sir, I'm going to need you to explain what the problem is here." Marcus looks at him, looks back at the reception desk where Jennifer is now watching with her arms crossed, and makes a decision. He's going to stay calm. He's going to be professional. He's going to do everything exactly right, because he knows that as a black man in a corporate lobby, any deviation from perfect behavior will be used against him. "There's no problem," Marcus says. "I have a 10 a.m. appointment that the receptionist says isn't in the system. I've asked to speak with a supervisor to help resolve this, and I'm waiting for them to arrive." Do you have proof of this appointment? Yes. I have email confirmation on my phone. Can I see it? Marcus pulls up the email and hands his phone to Mitchell. The security guard looks at it for maybe 5 seconds before handing it back. This doesn't mean anything. If it's not in the building system, you can't go up. I understand that, Marcus says, and you can hear the strain starting to enter his voice now, the effort it takes to remain calm, which is why I asked to speak to a supervisor who might be able to resolve the discrepancy. I am the supervisor on duty, Mitchell says. I mean a supervisor from the reception desk or from business development. And I'm telling you that if you don't have a valid appointment, you need to leave the building. The timestamp reads 9:58 a.m., 2 minutes until Marcus's scheduled appointment time. The lobby has other people in it now, the morning rush of employees arriving, a few other visitors checking in at different sections of the reception desk. Some of them are starting to notice the confrontation. Marcus is aware of the attention, aware of how this looks, aware that he's being positioned as the problem when all he's done is show up for a meeting. I'm not leaving, Marcus says, and his voice is firm now, not aggressive but absolutely resolute. Until someone can verify whether my appointment is valid or explain why a confirmed meeting is not in your system. I have done nothing wrong. I am conducting legitimate business, and I am not going to be treated like a criminal for trying to check in for a meeting. Mitchell's hand moves to his radio. Sir, if you don't leave voluntarily, I'm going to have to call the police. And there it is, the nuclear option, over a disputed appointment check-in. Marcus is dressed in a suit that probably cost more than Mitchell makes in a week. He's carrying a leather briefcase. He has email confirmation. He's been nothing but polite, and now he's being threatened with police involvement. Let's pause here for a second and talk about what's really happening, because this is where the case gets interesting from a legal standpoint. Marcus Thompson isn't just some random person who wandered into this building. He's a consultant who's been invited to discuss a potential contract worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. His company has worked with this corporation's competitors. He represents exactly the kind of professional expertise they claim to want to engage with. But somewhere in the machinery of this interaction, something has gone catastrophically wrong. Marcus looks around the lobby. He sees the other people checking in, being helped efficiently, being treated with basic courtesy. He sees the security camera mounted in the corner, the same camera whose footage will eventually be subpoenaed as evidence. And he makes a calculation. If he leaves now, he's cooperating with an unjust demand. The meeting won't happen. His professional reputation takes a hit because he'll be marked as someone who caused a scene. The receptionist and security guard face no consequences. The system that allowed this to happen continues unchanged. But if he stands his ground, really stands his ground, things are going to get ugly. He knows this. He's seen this before, lived this before, watched it happen to other black professionals who dared to insist on being treated with basic dignity. The clock hits 10:00 a.m. Call the police, Marcus says. I want this on record. I want them to see that I have a valid appointment, that I've done nothing wrong, and that I'm being removed from this building for no legitimate reason. Mitchell looks surprised. Most people, when threatened with police, back down. It's a rational response. Why escalate a situation that could potentially become dangerous? But Marcus has crossed some internal threshold. This isn't about the meeting anymore. This is about something bigger. Mitchell speaks into his radio. The CCTV footage captures him stepping away, speaking in low tones. Jennifer at the reception desk is on her phone now. Other receptionists are watching. Visitors in the lobby are definitely staring. One person appears to be recording on their phone, though that footage never surfaces in the legal proceedings. 3 minutes pass, then 5. Marcus stands exactly where he is, briefcase in hand, phone in his other hand, waiting. At 10:07 a.m., his phone rings. It's a number he doesn't recognize. Local area code. He answers. Mr. Thompson, this is Sarah Chen, Derek Williams' assistant. I am so sorry. There's been a terrible mix-up with our system migration this morning. Your appointment is absolutely scheduled. I've been trying to reach reception to let them know you should be sent straight up, but the lines have been busy. Are you in the building? Marcus closes his eyes for a moment. Yes, I'm in the lobby. There's been a situation. What kind of situation? The receptionist said I don't have an appointment in the system. I asked to speak to a supervisor. Security has been called. They've threatened to call the police. There's a silence on the other end of the line. Then, what? That's insane. Stay exactly where you are. I'm coming down right now. But Marcus doesn't get a chance to stay where he is, because at that exact moment, 2 police officers walk through the revolving glass doors. Mitchell immediately approaches them, gestures toward Marcus, begins speaking in tones too low for the CCTV to capture clearly. Marcus watches the officers approach him. One is white, maybe early 40s, with the kind of weathered face that suggests years on the force. The other is Hispanic, younger, still has that rookie alertness in his body language. They're both assessing him as they walk over, scanning for weapons, threats, signs of instability. Marcus knows this assessment. He's been on the receiving end of it his entire adult life. Sir, the older officer says, we've received a report of a trespassing situation. Can you explain what you're doing here? Marcus takes a breath. Everything depends on how he handles the next 60 seconds. Officers, my name is Marcus Thompson. I'm a business consultant with a confirmed 10 a.m. appointment with Derek Williams in business development. The receptionist stated the appointment wasn't in their system. I asked to speak with a supervisor to resolve this. Security threatened to call you if I didn't leave. I declined to leave because I have a valid appointment and have done nothing wrong. Approximately 2 minutes ago, I received a phone call from Mr. Williams' assistant confirming that the appointment is valid and that there was a system error on the company's end. She's on her way down to the lobby right now. He delivers this in one smooth statement, calm, factual, comprehensive. The officers look at each other. The younger one says, "Do you have ID?" Marcus slowly reaches into his jacket pocket, pulls out his wallet, extracts his driver's license, hands it over. The officer examines it, hands it to his partner. "And you have confirmation of this appointment?" "Yes, sir." Marcus unlocks his phone, pulls up the email, hands the phone over. The older officer reads it carefully, shows it to his partner. "This says 10 a.m. with Derek Williams," the officer says to Mitchell. "What's the issue?" Mitchell shifts his weight. "It's not in our system. But he has an email confirmation from someone in that office. Company policy is that without a system entry..." "Mr. Thompson!" Everyone turns. A young Asian woman in professional attire is hurrying across the lobby from the elevator bank, heels clicking on the marble. Sarah Chen. She reaches the group slightly out of breath, takes in the scene, the 2 police officers, the security guard, Marcus standing there with his license and phone in police hands, Jennifer watching from the reception desk. "Oh my God," she says. "Officers, I am so sorry for this confusion. Mr. Thompson absolutely has a confirmed appointment with my boss. We had a system migration issue this morning that affected several scheduled meetings. This is entirely our fault. There is no trespassing situation here." The older officer looks from Sarah to Marcus to Mitchell. He's been a cop long enough to read a situation. He hands Marcus's license and phone back to him. "Sir, you're free to go to your meeting." "Actually," Marcus says, and his voice has an edge to it now, a controlled anger that's been building for the past 20 minutes. "I'd like to file a complaint about how this was handled. I'd like it documented that I was threatened with arrest for attempting to check in for a legitimate business appointment, that I was treated as a trespasser despite having confirmation, and that police were called on me for no valid reason. The younger officer glances at his partner. The older one nods slowly. You can file a complaint at the station. Here's a card. We'll write up a report of this call. I want the CCTV footage preserved as evidence, Marcus says. Everything that happened here in the past 25 minutes. Sarah Chen is nodding vigorously. Absolutely. Mr. Thompson, I cannot apologize enough. Derek is waiting upstairs. If you'd like to come up, or if you'd prefer to reschedule given this experience, we completely understand. Marcus looks at her, looks at the police officers, looks at Mitchell and Jennifer, both of whom are very carefully not meeting his eyes, looks at the other people in the lobby, some of whom are still watching, probably wondering what this well-dressed black man did to warrant police attention, and then he makes a decision that surprises everyone, including himself. He raises his voice, not shouting, but projecting, speaking clearly enough that everyone in the lobby can hear him. My name is Marcus Thompson. I am a business consultant who was invited to this building for a 10 a.m. meeting. When I arrived and attempted to check in, I was told my appointment didn't exist, despite having email confirmation. When I asked for a supervisor to help resolve this, I was told to step back from the desk. When I declined to leave the building, security threatened to call the police. Police were actually called. I was treated like a criminal for trying to attend a business meeting. And the only reason I'm not being escorted out in handcuffs right now is because the assistant to the person I'm meeting happened to call my cell phone and came down to verify my appointment. The lobby has gone very quiet. Sarah Chen looks mortified. The police officers are exchanging glances. Mitchell has his hand on his radio, like he's considering whether to interrupt this speech. I want everyone here to witness this, Marcus continues. I want you to see how a black professional gets treated in one of the largest corporations in America. I did everything right. I was polite. I was professional. I had confirmation. And I was still treated like a threat. I was still seen as someone who didn't belong. And I want that documented. I want that remembered. He turns to the officers. I will be filing a formal complaint. I will also be contacting an attorney about potential legal action against this corporation for discrimination. I want every second of CCTV footage from this lobby preserved. I want the names of everyone involved in this incident. The older officer nods slowly. That's your right, sir. Marcus looks at Sarah Chen. I'm going to reschedule our meeting. Under the circumstances, I don't think I can have a productive business conversation right now. Please convey my apologies to Mr. Williams, and let him know I'll be in touch through my lawyer about when and if I'll be willing to reschedule. Sarah is pale. Of course, Mr. Thompson, we will absolutely work with you however you need. Marcus picks up his briefcase, walks toward the revolving glass doors. The police officers watch him go. Mitchell watches him go. Jennifer watches him go. Everyone in that lobby watches a man who came in for a business meeting leave as someone who's about to blow their world apart. The CCTV timestamp reads 10:19 a.m. when Marcus Thompson exits the building. The footage continues recording for months, gets backed up, gets transferred to legal preservation storage, and eventually gets played in a federal courtroom frame by frame while a jury watches and decides whether what they're seeing constitutes discrimination. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let me tell you what happened next. Marcus sits in his car in the parking garage for 45 minutes before he feels steady enough to drive. His hands are shaking, not from fear, but from the adrenaline crash that comes after holding yourself together through something that shouldn't have happened. He calls his wife, tells her what just occurred. She's silent for a long moment, then asks the question he's been asking himself. Are you sure you want to do this? Because that's the thing about standing up against discrimination. It's never just about one incident. It's about signing up for months, maybe years, of reliving the worst moment over and over. It's depositions and legal fees, and stress that seeps into every corner of your life. It's knowing that fighting back means becoming difficult, litigious, someone who makes everything about race. It means risking your professional reputation in an industry where word travels fast and corporate America has a long memory. Marcus drives home. He doesn't call Derek Williams back. He doesn't respond to the apologetic email that arrives from Sarah Chen 90 minutes later. Instead, he opens his laptop and starts documenting everything he can remember. Times, names, exact words spoken, the sequence of events. He writes it all down while it's fresh, knowing that memory fades and details matter in court. The next morning, he contacts an attorney. Her name is Patricia Nguyen, and she specializes in employment discrimination and civil rights cases. They meet in her office on a Thursday afternoon. Marcus brings his documentation, the email confirmation, screenshots of his phone logs showing the attempted calls, everything. Patricia listens to his story without interrupting. When he finishes, she leans back in her chair and asks him the same question his wife did. Are you absolutely sure you want to pursue this? Why does everyone keep asking me that? Marcus says. Because discrimination cases are brutal, Patricia tells him. They're going to argue you were belligerent. They're going to say you refused to follow protocol. They're going to bring up every parking ticket you've ever gotten, every negative Yelp review your business has received, anything they can use to paint you as unreasonable. They have unlimited resources. They will drag this out for years if they can. And even if we win big, it won't erase what happened to you. Marcus thinks about this, thinks about Jennifer Patterson's face when she sighed at him, thinks about Mitchell's hand moving toward his radio, thinks about standing in that lobby while police officers examined his identification for the crime of trying to attend a meeting. I'm sure, he says. Patricia nods. Then let's get to work. The first step is sending a formal complaint to the corporation's legal department. This is standard procedure. You give them a chance to resolve things before filing a lawsuit. The letter is 6 pages long and details every element of the incident, identifies it as potential racial discrimination in violation of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, and requests preservation of all relevant evidence, including CCTV footage, communication logs, and employee statements. The corporation's response arrives 3 weeks later. It's conciliatory in tone, apologetic for the misunderstanding, and offers Marcus a settlement of $25,000 in exchange for signing a non-disclosure agreement and releasing all claims. $25,000 for being threatened with arrest in their lobby, for being treated like a criminal, for the humiliation of having police called on him during what should have been a routine business meeting. It's insulting, Marcus tells Patricia. It's a test, she replies. They're seeing if you'll go away cheaply. When you don't, they'll know you're serious. Marcus rejects the settlement. On July 15th, 2019, Patricia files a federal lawsuit on his behalf, alleging racial discrimination, violation of civil rights, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The complaint is public record. Within days, it's picked up by legal blogs, then local news, then national media. Black consultant sues major corporation after police called during meeting check-in, runs the headline. The story goes viral. The corporation issues a statement. We take all allegations of discrimination seriously and are committed to conducting a thorough review of this matter. We maintain that our employees followed proper security protocols. Proper security protocols. That's going to be their defense. That race had nothing to do with it. That Jennifer and Mitchell were simply following procedure. That any person in Marcus's situation would have been treated the same way. The discovery phase of the lawsuit takes 8 months. This is when both sides get to demand documents, emails, policies, training materials, anything relevant to the case. Patricia's team requests everything. All CCTV footage from the lobby for the 6 months before and after the incident, training materials for reception staff, the complete history of security call logs, personnel files for Jennifer Patterson and Robert Mitchell, all communications related to Marcus's appointment, and demographic data on how visitors are processed. The corporation fights nearly every request. They claim footage from other dates is irrelevant. They argue personnel files are private. They try to limit the scope at every turn. This is standard legal strategy. Make everything as difficult and expensive as possible, hoping the plaintiff will run out of money or patience. But Patricia has taken the case on contingency, meaning she only gets paid if they win. And what the corporation doesn't know is that she's been doing this for 15 years and has developed a reputation for not backing down. The breakthrough comes during Robert Mitchell's deposition. A deposition is sworn testimony taken before trial, and it's where lawyers get to ask questions without a jury present. Mitchell sits across from Patricia in a conference room, his attorney beside him, a court reporter recording every word. Patricia takes him through the events of March 19th step by step. Mitchell's version matches the CCTV footage for the most part. Yes, he approached Marcus. Yes, he asked what the problem was. Yes, he threatened to call police. But then Patricia starts asking about other incidents. Mr. Mitchell, in your 6 years working security for this corporation, how many times have you threatened to call police on someone in the lobby? Mitchell thinks. Maybe a dozen times. Can you describe those incidents? His attorney objects. Relevance. They debate for 10 minutes. Eventually, Mitchell is instructed to answer. He describes situations. Someone who appeared intoxicated trying to enter the building. A person who became verbally abusive to reception staff. An individual who refused to leave after being informed their appointment was cancelled. Someone who tried to access restricted areas. Patricia makes notes. Then she asks, in any of those cases, was the person well-dressed, calm, presenting email confirmation of an appointment and simply asking to speak to a supervisor? Mitchell shifts in his seat. I don't recall the specific details of each case. Let me ask differently. In your 6 years of security work here, prior to March 19th, 2019, had you ever called police on someone who was attempting to check in for an appointment they claimed was confirmed when they were dressed professionally and had not raised their voice or made threats? Long pause. Not that I remember. No. So Mr. Thompson's case was unusual in that regard. Every situation is different. But you can't identify another case where police were called under similar circumstances. No. Patricia moves on to training. What training did you receive regarding how to handle disputes about appointments? Basic customer service training when I was hired. Did that training include specific protocols for when someone has email confirmation but isn't in the building system? I'm not sure. It was 6 years ago. Have you had any refresher training on these protocols since you were hired? No. What training have you received specifically on avoiding racial bias in security decisions? Mitchell's attorney objects again. More debate. Eventually, we had a 1-hour online module about diversity when I started. 1 hour 6 years ago? Yes. Nothing since then. No. Patricia already knows where this is going. The corporation has a diversity training problem, a protocol problem. And now she's got Mitchell on record, admitting that what happened to Marcus was unlike anything that had happened before. Jennifer Patterson's deposition is even more revealing. She's nervous, contradicts herself several times, and eventually admits that she didn't actually check the system thoroughly before telling Marcus his appointment didn't exist. She looked at one screen, didn't see his name immediately, and assumed it wasn't there. Why didn't you search more thoroughly? Patricia asks. I was busy. There were other people waiting. But according to the CCTV footage, no one else was at your section of the desk when Mr. Thompson first approached. Well, I knew people would be coming. It was morning rush time. So you decided not to help Mr. Thompson thoroughly because you anticipated other people might need help soon? I looked and didn't see an appointment. Did you use the search function? Pause. I don't remember. Did you check alternate spellings of his name? I don't think so. Did you call the business development office to verify? No. Did you check your supervisor's calendar or ask a colleague to check? No. So when Mr. Thompson showed you email confirmation and asked you to verify the appointment, you had already decided not to help him further. That's not, I was following protocol. What protocol? Show me in your training materials where it says you should refuse to verify an appointment when someone presents email confirmation. Jennifer can't, because no such protocol exists. What she did was make a snap judgment that Marcus didn't belong, didn't deserve extra effort, and should be removed as quickly as possible. Whether that judgment was conscious or unconscious, whether she would have treated a white man in an expensive suit the same way, that's what a jury is going to have to decide. The corporation's defense team realizes their problem. They make another settlement offer, $250,000, still with an NDA. Marcus and Patricia discuss it. $250,000 is real money. It would cover his legal fees with plenty left over. He could move on with his life. But taking it means agreeing never to talk about what happened, means letting the corporation avoid accountability, means nothing changes. I want my day in court, Marcus says. The trial begins on March 3, 2021, almost exactly 2 years after the incident. Federal courthouse downtown, Judge Sarah Henderson presiding. The jury is diverse, 4 white jurors, 3 black, 2 Hispanic, 1 Asian, 2 who identify as multiracial, 8 women, 4 men. They range in age from 26 to 68. Patricia's opening statement is powerful. She tells the jury they're going to see footage of a man being treated like a criminal for the crime of being black in a corporate lobby. She walks them through what happened step by step. She tells them that this isn't about a simple misunderstanding. It's about a pattern of seeing black people as threats, as problems, as people who don't belong in spaces of power and money. The corporation's attorney counters that this is about security protocols, about an employee who didn't follow proper check-in procedures, about a guard who responded to a report from reception that someone was refusing to leave. Race, he argues, had nothing to do with it. The trial lasts 3 weeks. The jury watches the CCTV footage multiple times. They hear from Marcus, from Jennifer, from Mitchell, from Sarah Chen, from Derek Williams, who testifies he definitely had the meeting scheduled, from security experts, from corporate training consultants, from psychologists who explain implicit bias. One of the most damaging moments for the defense comes when Patricia plays footage from other days in that same lobby. She's compiled clips of other visitors, white visitors, who had issues checking in. In every case, the reception staff goes out of their way to help. They make phone calls. They check multiple systems. They smile and apologize for the inconvenience. One man, clearly frustrated and raising his voice about a scheduling conflict, is treated with patience and courtesy until the issue is resolved. No security called, no police threatened. The contrast with how Marcus was treated is stark. Do you see what's happening here? The corporation's defense is crumbling because the evidence doesn't support their story, that anyone would have been treated the same way. The footage proves that white visitors got the benefit of the doubt. Marcus didn't. The jury deliberates for 6 hours. When they return, the forewoman reads the verdict. On the claim of racial discrimination, liable. On the claim of civil rights violation, liable. On the claim of intentional infliction of emotional distress, liable. Then comes the damages. $100,000 in compensatory damages, money to make Marcus whole for what he went through, and $1,900,000 in punitive damages, money meant to punish the corporation and deter future discrimination. $2 million total. The courtroom erupts. Marcus closes his eyes. Patricia squeezes his shoulder. The corporation's legal team looks stunned. Judge Henderson gavels for order. In her statement explaining the punitive damages, the jury forewoman later tells reporters that they wanted to send a message. This wasn't just about Mr. Thompson, she says. This was about every person of color who's been made to feel like they don't belong, who's been treated like a threat, who's had the police called on them for existing in a space where someone decided they didn't fit. The corporation had a chance to make this right and chose instead to fight it. The punitive damages reflect our view that corporations need to take discrimination seriously before it happens, not after. The corporation appeals. Of course they do. But 18 months later, the appellate court upholds the verdict. The $2 million judgment stands. But here's what matters more than the money: the changes that follow. As part of the final settlement agreement, because even after losing in court, there are negotiations about implementation, the corporation agrees to a comprehensive overhaul of their policies. Every employee, from reception to executive level, must complete quarterly training on implicit bias and discrimination prevention. Security protocols are rewritten to include specific escalation procedures that prioritize verification over removal. A third-party firm conducts annual audits of how visitors are processed, with demographic data analyzed for disparities. An independent ombudsman is hired to receive and investigate discrimination complaints. Jennifer Patterson no longer works there. She resigned during the trial. Robert Mitchell was reassigned to a different position with no public-facing responsibilities. 3 executives in HR and training were quietly let go. But the ripple effects go far beyond one corporation. The case becomes a landmark. It's cited in employee training programs across the country. Law schools teach it. Civil rights organizations point to it as proof that discrimination lawsuits can succeed even when there's no smoking gun. No racial slur, just the accumulated weight of different treatment. Marcus Thompson becomes a sought-after speaker on workplace discrimination. He talks at conferences, writes op-eds, consults with companies on how to actually, not performatively, but actually, create inclusive environments. His consulting business grows. The money from the lawsuit goes into a fund that provides legal support for other people facing similar discrimination but who can't afford to fight back. He never forgets that morning in March 2019. He still thinks about it when he walks into corporate buildings, still feels a flicker of anxiety when approaching reception desks. That's the thing about discrimination. Even when you win, even when you get justice, it leaves scars. But he also knows that his decision to stand his ground, to raise his voice in that lobby, to refuse to disappear quietly, mattered. Because of him, there's footage that can't be ignored. There's a verdict that can't be dismissed. There's precedent that protects the next person. 3 years after the verdict, Marcus receives an email from a young black woman. She's a recent MBA graduate, just started working at the same corporation where Marcus had his incident. She tells him that during her orientation, they watched the CCTV footage as part of a mandatory training on discrimination prevention. The trainer used Marcus's case to explain why everyone in the company has a responsibility to ensure people are treated with dignity. She wanted Marcus to know that because of him, she walks into that building every day, knowing that if someone treats her as less than, there are systems in place to hold them accountable. "That's what you did," she writes. "You made it safer for people like me. Thank you." Marcus reads the email twice, then forwards it to Patricia with a short message. This is why we did it. And maybe that's the real victory. Not the $2 million, though that matters. Not the policy changes, though those matter too. It's the knowledge that one person's refusal to accept injustice quietly can shift the ground for everyone who comes after. It's the understanding that courage isn't about being unafraid. Marcus was terrified that morning. Terrified when he filed the lawsuit. Terrified during the trial. Courage is about being afraid and standing up anyway. Here's what I want you to take from this story. Discrimination isn't always burning crosses and slurs. Often, it's Jennifer Patterson deciding someone doesn't deserve a thorough system check. It's Robert Mitchell seeing a well-dressed professional and somehow seeing a threat. It's policies that sound neutral but get applied differently depending on skin color. It's 1,000 small decisions that add up to some people being welcomed and others being suspected. And fighting it isn't about being perfect. Marcus didn't handle every moment flawlessly. He got angry. He raised his voice. He made the situation difficult. But he was right to do so. Because sometimes being polite means accepting injustice, and being professional means letting discrimination slide. The CCTV footage from that lobby still exists in legal archives. 25 minutes that changed policies, changed corporate culture, and changed Marcus Thompson's life. 25 minutes that proved what black professionals have been saying forever. We're not imagining it. We're not being sensitive. We're being treated differently, and sometimes we have the footage to prove it. If you watched this whole story and it opened your eyes to something you hadn't fully understood before, hit that subscribe button. If you've experienced something like this yourself, drop a comment and share your story. This community needs to hear it. And if you think Marcus was right to stand his ground, or if you disagree, I want to hear your perspective in the comments below. Thanks for watching this all the way through. Stories like Marcus Thompson's need to be told because they remind us that justice is possible, change is possible, but both require someone willing to stand in a lobby and say, "No, I'm not leaving. I did nothing wrong, and I deserve to be treated with respect." Sometimes that's all it takes to start shifting the world. See you in the next one.
Thank you for joining us. If you appreciate this level of detail, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to Justice Insight Cam. Stay knowledgeable, keep yourself safe, and tune in for our next update.